M. Seton, Heart Restored, Finding True Fulfillment in Christ. In this book, we embark on a journey that explores the depths of human longing and the pursuit of true fulfillment. The Voice of the Holy Spirit by author Stephanie M. Seton. The Voice of the Holy Spirit by author Stephanie M. Seton. In this book there are numerous testimonies of supernatural provisions and instruction, because she listened to the voice of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is our comforter and guide.
Welcome to the Stephanie M. Seton Sunday Show. Tonight we are having some technical difficulties, and I apologize for that. But you know what? We have an amazing guest tonight, and the show must go on. Okay, so welcome to tonight's episode of the Stephanie M. Seton Sunday Show. Tonight we have entrepreneur, we have author, new author, Mr. Marlondos C. Welcome. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing good. Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
I am doing good. I'm so happy to have you here. This is going to be an amazing interview, opportunity for us to talk about your new upcoming book and also to talk about your nonprofit organization, Yesterday's Tomorrow. So I am just excited. I know that you've put a lot of work into the project that we're working on right now. It's going to be released October the 1st. I mean,
a lot of work. Definitely a lot of work.
That's not that far from now, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah. So listen, the very first question that I usually ask all my guests is to tell us who you are. So who is Marlondos C. Fields? Who are you?
I'm a Christian. I'm a father. I'm a brother. I'm a man. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a forward thinker. I'm a adventurous. Love to travel. I'm a collector. I'm an artist. I'm a lover of all different things and different cultures and history. You know, just I
Okay.
like to consider myself a well-rounded individual.
Okay. Okay. I am showing the link. This link is actually to your business profile for yesterday's tomorrow. And so if you click on that link, you will actually be able to go to his page for yesterday's tomorrow. But let me get into a little bit about you, the man. Tell me a little bit about your childhood. What was your childhood like, Marlondos?
It was crazy. Born in Orlando, Florida, raised in Moss Point, Pascagoula, Mississippi, between Pascagoula, Mississippi, and Mobile, Alabama. Um, I was basically raised by my uncles. A lot of times, I was a low key troublesome type kid. You know, I had an uncle that recently passed away. That was also like a father figure to me. He tried to keep a lot of his nieces and nephews, and everybody well grounded in the sports and different activities. Like, of course, our grandmothers played a big role in our life. Everybody, like I said, village to raise a kid, to raise a child. But I was back and forth between, like I say, Florida, and when the summer times hit, I was in Mississippi. I did get into a little trouble where I had to end up going to live with an uncle in Alabama, and then I got a little trouble in Alabama, and then ended up having to go back to Forest, Florida. But then after that, once I got forced back to Florida, got back on track, did what I needed to do, and I thank God, left and forth, went to the military, and then I did a good bit of time in the military. I did 20 years in the Navy, and was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia for quite a bit of time. And then as my career started to round out, I wrapped it up here in Tyler, Texas, as a Navy recruiter. I started out as a
Right.
search and rescue swimmer and finished out as a Navy recruiter.
Wow. That's the big change, right?
A huge change.
That is actually how I met you almost, what, 9 years ago,
Correct.
when
Correct.
my son signed up to go to the Navy. You were actually my son's Navy recruiter. So
Oh,
small world, small world.
very, very,
Um,
very.
listen, what'd you say?
I said very, very small world.
Oh yes, yes. And speaking of that, I was telling you that he is actually about to get out, so I'll be reconnecting him with you
Okay.
to give him some
I'm here.
inside information on this retirement thing, since you retired Navy as well. Um, so listen, tell me about yesterday's tomorrow. First of all, what inspired you to start this nonprofit, and then just kind of tell us a little bit about it.
Right before Y2K, it was a vision that had came to me, and it was a real big deal about things gonna disappear, computers, everything gets shut down. You know the whole lie, missiles, this bombing and everything. And something said that it was like you need to collect all these things since there's not gonna be any paper or anything for us, and that you need to go and collect. And then I was real big
Yeah.
into watching Wesley Snipes on Blade, and Blade had an episode where basically it was the end of the world. There was a scene where there was the archive, and the archive is where all of the important papers were hid at. And then at that time, I was going to church in Portsmouth, Virginia. There was a gentleman that came up to me. He gave me a Benjamin Banneker comic book. I didn't even know a such thing existed. It was like from the 70s. And he also put in my hand a Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver coin. I didn't even know
Hmm.
African Americans was on money. And that's what
Okay.
started it. I was taken for granted of where I was. It was like
Hmm.
I left Shamu and Disney and the life in the land of oranges to go for us first time out of the states, going for us to Virginia, and then now I'm around all this culture, and that's what woke me up to start Force Collective. In the beginning, I was only collecting just the nice things, and then I was put in my place that you got to collect the good as well as the bad. Um, I collected, and I know
Wow.
that once I got out of the military, I would then start some type of organization. I just didn't know. Back, I started collecting around 99, 90, 98, 97, and then I didn't start my nonprofit till 2012.
Okay.
But while in the Navy, I was a part of the multicultural committee. And the multicultural committee is when we get ready to deploy. I was on the Curator, the Enterprise, and the Theodore Roosevelt. And when you get ready to deploy, you have to be ready to do whatever duration of education and recognize that everybody's culture and contributions to for the United States. So everything that was on that calendar, whether it be Native American history, whether it be for Holocaust, Black history, women's history, anything on there, we turned around and we recognized to get everybody to feel at home because we was already on a still beach,
Hmm.
constantly basically going to war or patrolling. So that's where it kind of had started. And then once I came forward to got to Tyler, I I had the reputation in Virginia of doing everything for us with history. I thank God to been able to meet people like Mamie Pena Johnson. She's the first Black female
Yeah.
pitcher. I got her autograph, got cars, got tons. I was adopted by the Negro Baseball League player. His name is Thomas Burt. He played for the Indianapolis Clowns and the Portsmouth Firecrackers. So with him taking me under his wing, I got to meet Samuel Allen. He was one of the players that played for the Kansas City Monarchs, and they then
Wow.
introduced me to every Negro League baseball player when they came into Tidewater, into the Hampton Roads area. With Captain Aurora, which was she I got a chance to talk to her and meet with her and get her autographs and everything. I was on board the USS Enterprise, so I had her uh, uh, um, introduced to a lot of things from the Enterprise from my ship, and also got to talk to her about that very famous kiss with Captain Kirk that ended up being the first Black
Hmm.
interracial kiss. And there was times where Carl Bashur, which is the first Black Navy diver, I was what is there's a plethora of folks. I got a chance to meet every Tuskegee airman that was alive. Have all them autographs and different
Wow.
things for a plumber. Yes, and so it was
Let
like
me ask.
the first black Muslim chaplain. So it was like all these things that I was coming across and all these things that I was finding. And then I was over the multicultural committee in the Navy. And so when we get ready to deploy, I would turn around and drive up to like Baltimore Black Wax Museum. I would get some education from them so that when we did something, it could be
Hmm.
authentic. When we did, I got a chance to go and do things like the Diary of Anne Frank or the Holocaust Museum up in DC. So when we did things about the Jewish community, things was that nature, the Davids, and would be able to have some actual passports and everything that talk about for the Holocaust to be able to share with everybody. So I wanted everything when the committee and when we got together, equal opportunity, semio, equal opportunity, when we all got together and we presented these events to recognize everybody, every culture. We had some
Hmm.
authenticity there so everybody can see. And thank God there was always somebody on board the ship that we can count on to represent for us that nationality. Native Americans, Hispanics, Alaskan, Caribbean. We had we would do a meal, education, cake cut, and ice cake and ice cream, and it just grew. And then as I when I got here to Tyler, Texas, I said, okay, I'm about to retire. Let me go ahead and start one. And I was trying to come up with a name yesterday's tomorrow, and I was talking to a gentleman over at TK Gorman about the idea, and
Okay.
I already had two CPR companies, Be a Lifeline and Save a Life CPR, one here and one in Virginia. And I didn't know what to do. And I uttered the words, it'd be nice to be mobile. And he said, you know what? That's sketchy to be a mobile Black History Museum because you can always have a brick and mortar, a building, but to actually be able to go out and go about, be mobile, that would be great. And I did went ahead and started, did the 501c3, and I started trying to go around to all the Tyler ISDs and talk to the superintendent in different places of that nature at the office and everything, those in charge.
Hmm.
And I presented to them, hey, since they're talking about pulling things out of schools, let me come in, let me do this, let me lay out the layout and give you a detailed information on what I'm going to teach. I'm already CPR qualified. I'm already a substitute teacher. of all of my schools in elementary schools because I was a Navy recruit as well. So and that's
That's right.
how it happened and started. That's how it had happened, how it had started and everything for the nature. I have been fortunate enough to go different places and do different things and do things here in Tyler and be at different museums. And I recently hosted I did a family reunion. They told me how they wanted the layout to be at the Holiday Inn. So I did that event.
Hmm.
Before then, Juneteenth, I was I did my second tour of I had second time going to AME Reedy Church, which is the first black church in Galveston, and I'm supposed to be going back down there to do some more things with them and start some things up with them and help them out because they're under the new pastorship and everything, clergyman. So there's a lot of things I've been asked to back home in Eatonville. That's where Zornia Hurston is. That's where she's from to do some things there in Eatonville and back home in Orlando. And there's different people that's been calling me. I've been asked to come to Atlanta, uh, Cotilda, Mobile, Alabama. I got with them up there about doing some things. Yesterday's tomorrow is also consists of a mobile library that's over 13,000 books that I have in storage. And the 13,000 books is everything for us about African American history. We got to remember that African American history isn't just for us black. When people for us hear
Hmm.
that, they might cringe or what. I mean, there were carpetbaggers. There was people that was there before Motel 6 that held the light on. So and that's how that got started, and I'm still continuously doing it now, revamping things. Yesterday's tomorrow consists of about 28, 29,000 square foot of information, and then there's a private library of about 13, 14,000 books, and that's called FACES, which stands for Fields African American Center of Education and Study.
Okay. Okay. You know,
With the library, there was with the library, it's the Fields African American Study of Education. It was I was kind of one of the toughest times was putting the library together was I didn't have a lot on religion, I didn't have a lot on women, and I didn't have a lot on children. There was a lot of things about men, sports, things of that nature. And I got a phone call up in different various places. I have people from different areas, different states that know what I'm doing that send me books. And then when I went to one area up in the Dallas area, because I was also the president of Friends here, which is the at the library. So a lot of things I got wind of about books that were being taken out with everything, the book ban and everything. So there's a lot of books that I was able to grasp and have in storage in the collection. So right now, where I'm trying to go with the library and with the museum, trying to find I don't know, either a school bus or RV and gut it out and have it where I can actually definitely for us be mobile because it's definitely easy to be brick and mortar, and I definitely want to say thank you to the Foundry, and it's a blessing. The Foundry has been with me. There's a lot of vendors that are with me that support and do what I'm support me in everything that I'm doing.
yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am still having some technical difficulties, but you know what? We're going to go on with the interview, and we're going to do another interview closer to the release of the book anyway. So, you know what? It's no worries. We're going to still do this thing. We're going to talk about everything we're going to talk about tonight, and then we're going to talk about it again in right before October, before we release the book. So,
Good, good.
the internet devils can just leave us alone. So, listen, I did not know. I mean, I took a look at your nonprofit and wow, you met the Tuskegee Airmen. Like,
Mhm,
that
mhm,
is amazing. Of course, I've watched the movie. And then, as far as the Deep Sea Diver, I watched that movie where a Cuba Gooding Jr.
mhm.
played the first Navy diver. And so, wow,
There
that
was
is
a
amazing.
thank you,
How,
thank you.
how do you how did you feel in those moments where you were there in the presence of these historical people that most of us will just hear about in a book or in a movie? Like, how did you feel in that moment?
It was definitely truly a blessing and to They came and sat down and signed autographs and they talked. And once again, I was part of a committee that brought them to the ship. When I was at this time, I was on the Enterprise. I'm sorry, not the Enterprise. The Yes, the Enterprise. They came on board and signed autographs, but basically to be in their presence, it was crazy. But there wasn't a whole lot of time spent with them. Like Captain Aurora, I spent I was sitting next to her and did a great deal of time with the Tuskegee Airmen. It was, almost some similar like a assembly line. You had a very short period of time because you're talking about 3, 4, 5,000 people that want to go up there and see him as well. With Captain Aurora, it was a little bit for us intimate. With Mamie Peanut Johnson, it was definitely very intimate to know that she took her hair and tied her hair and put it under her hat, and she tricked. Nobody knew that she was a female for the longest. And with the Negro Baseball League players, that was intimate as well because I was under the wing or under the arms of Sam Allen and under Thomas Burton. But like Airmen, but just to be around them was just this is history. Like when I met Cicely Tyson, that was crazy. When Chris Tucker, that was crazy. Cicely Tyson was crazy. Ozzie Davis, when I met him, I'm sitting right next to Ozzie Davis, and he's talking. I'm looking around like, wait a minute, isn't there a Cicely Tyson? And I met Ozzie Davis in 2001, and I met Cicely Tyson in like 1999, 2000. Ozzie Davis, I met in Orlando, Florida, at a cancer event for men, and Cicely Tyson, she came out to an MWR event in the Navy. Chris Tucker, he was just coming out. He was there as well. So I mean, there's a lot of people I've like lost count. I've met a lot of NASCAR race car drivers, baseball players, sports players. I mean, I've been blessed to meet a lot of people: white, black, orange, green, tangerine, from every nationality. Yeah, I'm a big lover of history.
You know what? Let's go into your book.
Okay.
Let's talk about this amazing piece of work that you're in the process of getting published. And this is your first of many. I'm gonna speak it for you. This will be
Thank
your
you.
first of many books. The title in itself, When I Look Back. I'm going to read the synopsis of your book, and then I'm going to also show a picture of the book cover as I read that. And just kind of want to put that up there. We're going to talk about that amazing piece of art that you have there behind you as well. Um, so we'll talk about that. But let me read the synopsis for the book. Okay, so When I Look Back by Marlondos C. Field takes readers on an emotional journey of love, loss, and discovery. I'm going to put this banner up too. I'm trying to definitely create the understanding of the book. Let me put this up here. Yes, I'm promoting my author on my brand. So let me put this up here. Is it coming up? All right. So When I Look Back takes readers on an emotional journey of love, discovery. Fields found love and made a vow to be the best version of himself, honoring both his wife and Jesus Christ. Their love brought him the joy of fatherhood later in life, adding two more children to his family, which already included two older children. However, the blissful life he envisioned came crashing down when his wife asked for divorce. This marked the beginning of his deep feeling of helplessness. As church leadership, police protection, and legal system failed him, Fields was forced to look up to Jesus, the you talk about life, you talk about having moments where you had to really push into the Lord and what you had built yourself up in your faith. Um, Moments of crying yourself to sleep, finding yourself really pressing in on what you knew to do as a man of God versus what you wanted to do in your flesh. Because things happen to us, if we're not rooted and grounded in the world outside of the will of God. And sometimes things happen that we don't necessarily like. But the Lord has a plan for everything, and how we handle situations is so important. Kind of tell us a little bit about that process of how you.
Well, basically, the process of how I dealt with everything is I really had to lean on the Lord. There was a lot of things, a lot of people that I was talking to that I really had to coke bottle it in, or narrow it down to just what at that time. Be honest with you, a lot of people have different feelings about what you feel and your feelings and all that stuff. But it really was what I felt was the right thing to do. Um, I did try to fight. I did try to fix. But that didn't that wasn't it wasn't for us helpful. So when the decision for us came down, and as you read the book, you'll find out some more other things. But I really had to lean on the Lord, and every time something bad or something negative was happening, I tell you, the old me was like, man, go back and do how you would normally handle this. But I
Yeah,
couldn't. I just couldn't in so many different ways and so many different for reasons. There's a lot of things that I had listened to. I getting into the Bible, opening it with the Bible, even more, even more than what I was doing before. I would be honest, and this is
yeah,
basically me taking a stab at myself. Before I was playing church, before I was playing church and going
yeah,
through, yeah, do my scripture, now lay me down to sleep, our Father, but it was really what it was all meaning, because the transformation of what I was becoming, not thinking about what I would normally do to fix the situation and what I'm doing now. But there were times where I cried and cried because the flesh just as the flesh wanted to be fleshy, as you hear. I cried because I could not. It's like I had to stand there and just get slapped. I had to stand there and just get constantly getting slapped. And my hands, I'm not
hmm,
bound. My hand, I could slap back, but it just
yeah,
my brother and I, we had a conversation. Like, man, do you know what power is? I said, power is knowing that you could turn around and push a button and end the world if you wanted to, and not doing it. That's basically where I was at. In the flesh, I just cried and
yeah,
cried because I was known not to. I was known to be that person that could turn around, just push the button and call it quits. So that was one of the biggest things about how I dealt with it. There were a lot of gospel songs I would just have on dupe and just listen. I was advised by a very good friend of mine, a young lady, to go in and do something I hadn't done before, and that was really going on and listen to different podcasts and listen to different things that people have to say. To me, it was like going another step besides for sermons, but it was getting more into for us, I guess, in the podcast world, basically. So when I was listening to those things and listening to individuals and continuing smiling as I was crying at the same time, smiles and cries, and just trying to do what was right, trying to keep my head full above water. Uh, Honestly, really not feeling like I had any guidance. Um, I was thinking that certain people were there that I can go to, who I can talk to see to basically feel ostracized. One of my most scariest moments was going back to church. When I went back, it was like I could hear the walls whispering, "Why is he here?" I could hear the walls whispering, "He took them kids." You know what I'm saying? It was just different things that I could turn around and was just hit the walls, and I had to basically I just kept walking down that down that like walking the plank, getting ready to get pushed off side of the ship. So I kept walking down the hallways, went on and sat down for us in the pews. There's this one individual, there was a couple individuals that hey, look, everything gonna be all right, everything gonna be okay. Took me under their belt and really was there. And with them, it was almost like, hey, look, man, just keep your eyes on, keep your eyes on the Lord. Yes, keep your eyes on the Lord. But look, man, you can just something don't feel right, man. Don't worry about nobody else, man. Just come to me, come to us. We'll be all right. And I appreciate them. I really, really, really do appreciate them because I'm telling you, it seemed like the whole world. It just seemed like the whole world got burned down around me. It seemed like the whole world just had ostracized me, and then not knowing who I could talk to and who I can go to and basically be open. And then now you turn around and then you add in the situation that I was in. It led me nothing but to God. It led me nothing
Yeah.
but to God. You know,
Yeah.
there's so many things. Like I said, once you read the book, when you read the book, you'll see, you'll hear, wow, I can't believe that. I can't believe that. I'm like, wow, yes, this really is happening. It's going down.
I think the thing that caught me the most when you were telling me your story in the beginning of our writing stage, the thing that got me the most was when you as a man talked to me about how you had made so many changes to get it right. You'd done so many things in this marriage, in this relationship. You honored the Lord. You really were trying to give it your all in being the best version of yourself. And when we do that, and I say we because you're not the only person, that's done that, but when you do that and then when you said you wanted to see forever, like, whoa, that was so deep. When we don't really hear it very much from men. We hear women tell their stories and we talk about these things. But I think as you and I were talking about your life and the events that happened in your life, the thing that stuck out to me the most was you telling me how you showed up. And you showed up all the way to the end, like you were really fighting for your marriage. Showed up not only mentally, but emotionally, physically for yourself and for your kids. And we just don't really have a lot of men that open up about that process. So I salute you. I thank you
Thank
for
you.
being open and vulnerable, to let us see a different side, because there are men out there that are struggling with the fact that, what, I can say that I'm trying to raise kids. You
Mhm.
have your kids and you're trying to figure out what to do and how to do this, and you're being a parent, you're a hands-on parent, and at the same time that your marriage that you did not expect to go in this direction, especially because of all that you had invested in it,
Mhm.
when it crumbles, you're like, well, where did I go wrong? Where did I fail? And you internalize those things. But like I said, I think it's amazing that this book is going to not only serve the purpose of telling your story so that you can get your voice out there, but this book is going to be the stepping stone for so many men to be able to put a voice that, what, me too, I've went through this too, I'm going through this too, and we have feelings and we have emotions and we think things too. So I
Mhm.
salute you for being open and vulnerable and transparent,
Thank
very
you. Thank you.
transparent, be able to tell your story. And I tell you what, all of you that are watching, you need to be ready to purchase this book on October the 1st. When I look back, we are going to do another interview closer to time. We may reveal a few more things. I'm not sure. We'll have to talk about it. But listen, you definitely want to be looking for this book. Marlondos' book is going to be in pre-sale here in the next couple of weeks, where you will actually be able to go ahead and purchase the digital version. And once that book is in pre-sale, go ahead and get your copies. As soon as the book is released, Amazon will go ahead and ship your copies out to you. His book is going to be available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Apple, pretty much everywhere online that you can find a book. We are going to make sure So listen, Marlondos C feels yesterday's tomorrow. Check out his nonprofit online and be prepared to buy his book, When I Look Back. Marlandos, give them your contact information. Where can they find you to get in touch with you?
But I'm on Facebook under Marlondos C Fields. Also, yesterday's tomorrow, and I do have a website. Yes, Tom H AA African American Mobile Museum site.com, and that's how you can find me, yeah, on Facebook, on all those platforms of social media. Or if you want to email me, you can email me at yestomh@gmail.com if you have any questions or anything. I need to get in contact with me. If you need help with a research paper or anything for that nature, or books, you can definitely for us get in contact with me the same exact ways.
Before we head out, that amazing piece of art behind you that you created and we made into the book cover. Tell me, tell us, all of us that are watching, I kind of know the story a little bit, but tell all of us, why did you choose that picture? Why did you choose that piece of work for your book cover? Tell us the story behind it.
I'm an art major, blow glass. Went left TJC, graduated, went to UTA in Arlington to blow glass, major in, and when I made that in 2012 in our art class, I wanted to do something kind of crazy, and basically the thing behind it was at that time I was watching myself fading. I was losing control of myself. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't know what direction I was in. There's actually I
Mm,
made two of them. Only a few have seen the other one, and this one is watching myself fade away, and the other one is watching me fight myself. And
mm,
this is actually for my face, my image, and both of them are, like I said, this one here is watching myself fade away, and the other one, which is the book cover, and the other one is watching myself. I'm fighting myself.
that's powerful. That
Thank
is
you.
powerful. Wow. I mean, that's reality. You know, I do a lot of shows on healing, empowerment, and transformation. And those processes is having to face ourselves in order to heal,
Hmm.
in order to be a better version of yourself. You got to not only look at the other people that are in your life, but you also have to turn the mirror on yourself. Um, before we head out, I have this question, Mr. Martlandos. How does it feel knowing that you have your book coming out, that this book is going to be a blessing to so many
Yes.
men who struggled to express their feelings or their thoughts, because a lot of times men, and especially black men, are misunderstood, are not heard, um, are not expected to have feelings and emotions, but yet you do.
Hmm.
How does it make you feel knowing that October 1st, When I Look Back, will be released and this book will be a stepping stone for not only you, but for men to come? How does that make you feel?
I mean, it feels good. It really feels good. I do want to say that I have ran into a plethora of men that have been in this stage, and for whatever reason they said they didn't say, or maybe they did pass on the knowledge to others. There's a gentleman that's passing the knowledge on to me every day, even just today as we speak. But to be, it was it was nervous really coming out, because you're setting yourself up to be a target. You really set yourself to be a target. You set yourself up for scrutiny. You set yourself up for whatever somebody else for us feel. Man, don't make us look like that, or man, you didn't really go for that. Or even, for the reader in this book that know this is them. And it's not just they might know, but I mean, just I'm very happy about it. I'll be that vessel. I'll be that
Mhm.
vessel. This is I've always I used to ask myself a long time ago when you're sitting in church and people, they pass the mic around. Do you have a testimony? They pass the mic around,
Yeah.
and I'll say up, I want to say thank you for a new job. I want to thank you for this, and then you hear the people thank you for curing cancer. Thank you for like wow, that's way huge to mine. But everybody has their own story. But this
Yeah.
is one here that I'm very proud to say that the mic was passed to me, and I'm
Mm.
standing up and letting you know that I did it. Bam! Now it's time for your mic.
Oh, wow. That
So
was
thank you.
deep. Yeah. I have the workshop that I do, and the workshop that I do, the theme of it is there is power in your story.
Mm.
So, yeah, that's what I thought about when you said that, passing the mic. So there is power in your story, Mr. Marlondos, and we are getting your story out there. I strongly encourage you. If you have a story to tell, don't let anybody stop you from telling your story. Your
Right.
story matters, and there is power in your story. The Lord allows us to go through things, but that's not the stepping stone. We do get to come out on the other side. And when you come out on the other side, it's our responsibility to reach back and try to help
Mhm.
somebody else that might be along the way. And so, in closing, what would your final thoughts be to somebody that is thinking about writing a book and not really sure if they want to be open or vulnerable? What do you tell them, Marlandos?
I just had that the other day, to be honest with you. And they told me thank you by just reading what was on social media about the book coming out. And I told them, however, I can be of a guidance and for help to any of them. And we are to basically magnify the goodness of the Lord and his grace and his mercy. And we're also to show
Yeah,
mercy.
yeah,
That's what I was
yeah.
saying.
That's right. So again, Marlondos C feels When I Look Back. The book will be released October the 1st. His book will be out on pre-sale here in the next 2 weeks. Make sure that you get a copy. His masterpiece of artwork is on the book cover. There are so many more things to come from Mr. Marlondos. So you definitely stay tuned to that. I want to thank you again for tuning in and staying tuned in the midst of technical difficulties, to the Stephanie
Thank
M.
you.
Seaton Sunday Show. This has been an amazing episode talking to my friend and author, Marlondos C. Fields, here on the
I thank
Stephanie
you.
M. Seaton
Thank you.
Sunday Show. And we will catch you again on next week, on next Tuesday and next Thursday, where we'll have more amazing guests. So again, thank you, Mr. Marlondos, for being
No, thank
here.
you. And
This has
thank
been
you
an
all for
amazing
watching.
time to showcase what you've got going on. Did you have any closing remarks?
I just want to once again thank you. I'm looking forward. Everybody go out. Pre-sales will come out. This is something for everybody. Everybody can learn from this book.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
you're welcome. Hang tight, Mr. Marlendos. I'm going to close out the broadcast, but if you'll just hang tight right there in the studio, okay?
Will
Be
do.
just a moment. Again, thank you so much for watching the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show. That is tonight's episode. We will see you again on next week on Tuesday, where we will have more amazing guests, and you have a great night tonight.
If you would like to be a guest on the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show, email Stephanie at stephaniemseatontheauthor@gmail.com.